Who is someone that is considered a role model that shouldn't be?
We should write a book, Donovan. This is like a book long question. Like,
Yeah, that's
ignorant motherfuckers y'all admire, part 1. Like, this could be like a 500-page book.
name a couple tops for you.
Any Kardashian, anyone who is associated with a Kardashian, besides Ray J.
Yeah, I agree.
You'd think Kim had one wish, the way shit turned out with Ray J. Two Opinionated, episode 22, Role Models.
Role model.
What a role model is, the pros and cons of different types of role models we have throughout life. We're just going to get into it. So first question is on you, sir.
What is a role model?
Just someone shows you the way, right? Someone who, I mean, I guess the definition would say something about modeling a role, something like that. Just someone, an example to follow, whether that be a good or a bad thing, isn't really in the definition of a role model. But just someone that shows you the way. Yeah.
Exactly. For sure.
How you define it?
Yeah, like a role model for me is just someone you look up to, you know what I mean? Someone that you like the direction that they're going, and you know what I mean? You kind of draw inspiration from that.
Hopefully it is one of your own personal heroes.
Exactly.
You like that. All right, so do you feel like you have to choose to be a role model, or do you think everybody is just a role model whether they like it or not?
I feel like it's kind of both, to be honest. Like I feel like some people strive or they choose to be how do you explain it? That kind of person, you know what I mean? Like somebody that other people follow, you know what I mean? Like the so-called like influencers, you know what I mean? There's people that strive to be that, and there's people that just happen to fall into, whether it's through their profession or hobbies or something, into a lane, and it starts making noise and people end up looking up to them, you know what I mean? But their intention wasn't to go out there and like, I'm going to be a role model. So I feel like it's kind of a bit of both. What do you think?
I feel it. I definitely think that there's an intent behind it. However, I will say I think everybody, unless you live on an island by yourself, everybody is a role model. Whether you like it or not, you are a role model. Like every interaction you have with people, you're modeling your behavior for kids, for adults, for whatever. You could be an asshole and not want to be a role model and get your way, and other people will be like, oh, look, that's how you get your way. You act like this. So I think no matter what, you are a role model. Everybody is, no matter whether you want to be or not.
Good. I like that.
Oh no, it's on you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Who is a role model of yours?
The only consistent in my life has been my mother, right? It's like as a younger kid, it was my brother, but that was just being like real young, and then that turned to like hip hop artists like Nas, Tupac, DMX, like picking pieces out. From then, I feel like my whole life, not having a father or uncle, not having like someone close to me like that, I've had to pick pieces of people, right? Like piece together like the person I'd want to be. So it wasn't like follow this one person's every move. It was like follow these pieces here. Okay, on this cat, follow these pieces. And I feel like most of them don't even know that I saw those things. But like you know, I'll use a name. You know James, right? James Jones, right?
Yeah.
Older James Jones, not his kid.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I always admired, and he probably has no idea. I always admired about him. I think he had his first kid at like 13, right?
Yeah.
And then his next kid at like 14, and his next kid at 15, or 12, 13, 14. So it was hella young. Like it was hella young.
Yeah.
And I know society would look at some of the decisions he made to support his kids, but he's always been there. Like from a young, that's hella young. But he's always been there. He's taking care of his kids. So like seeing that piece, like I've always admired that about him. Like he'll always have respect for me from that. I haven't talked to him in years. It's always been love, but I haven't talked to him in years. But I've always admired that. I still think of that to this day, of that sacrifice he did, dropping out of school, taking care of his kids. Like so admirable, right?
For sure.
I remember being a hothead in high school. I used to have a pistol all the time, right? And I used to keep that with me wherever I would go. Like not too much in Orville, but when I'd be out of town doing nonsense, I would have one with me. There was this kid junior year who he thought I was trying to get his girlfriend, right? And I wasn't, but he thought I was. And I remember him and like 5 of his friends like surrounding me, like circling me like they were gonna jump me. My friend, you would know if I said his name. I'm not gonna say his name. Was sitting in the car just watching him. Like he didn't pop out. Like it was about just me jumped. And I was so angry. I was in tears, and I didn't have my gun on me. Thank God. And I remember driving over to my friend Mo's house, and I was like in tears, like nigga, give me a gun, like because I know I figured he had a gun. Like I need to go handle this. Like give me a gun, and he wouldn't give me one. And I was so pissed off at him. But now I'm so thankful, for him not giving me a
Sure,
gun.
dude.
Because that
Good job,
like
Mo.
yeah, I was ready though. Like I was so like I'm about to get jumped, like and off a misunderstanding. I'm mad at my friend for not jumping out and helping me, and so like just to picking little pieces apart. So like being that big homie, be like, no, like calm down, like don't do. I figured because of his past experiences, he would understand and give me a gun and be like, handle it, right? But he didn't, and so just picking those things about, away from people, my anger management counselor, like redirecting my whole life, just picking little pieces from people. That's a very long-winded answer to you or for you, but yeah, that's my answer. How about you, Donovan? Who is your role model?
I could definitely say my older brothers. You know what I mean? They got me into a lot of the stuff that I'm into now. You know what I mean? Like Aaron was a lot more adventurous than David was. Like I don't know, he was always rollerblading, skateboarding, snowboarding, doing like stuff like that. Like that wasn't David's things, you know what I mean? But David was in the sports, he was in basketball, football, and like Aaron was too, but Aaron was also like adventurous like that. So like they were the ones who got me into like playing sports. Plus like I don't know, I'm ambidextrous because of them. Like David would be David was right-handed, Aaron was left-handed. I remember as a kid playing baseball, I definitely didn't stick with baseball just because being left-handed, I swear to God, they always do the, like I got beamed. I feel like I got beamed more times than I got hit, like hits with like the baseball. So I was like, yeah, this isn't my sport. But at one point, I think I was pitching, and I was so ambidextrous that I was throwing left-handed. Then David would throw me a right-handed glove, and then like now I'm pitching right-handed, and I could always switch hit. And, like the same thing went with basketball. So like they definitely helped like broaden my talents and stuff like that when it came to sports, and just the direction that they some directions, because we're going to get into this further, some directions that they've went, I definitely try to mirror like some decisions that I've made based off of like theirs, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
But yeah,
definitely.
so that's just two, but it's kind of the same, like how you have like people that pop in and out of your life like throughout, like, you know what I mean, like I don't know, throughout time, like how you had like Mo and like this situation, like you find role models in a lot of aspects, in a lot of areas of your life.
Yeah, definitely. So have you ever had someone fall out of being that role model for you?
Actually, yeah, I have. I'm not gonna like name names, but like I have had a role model that like I really did look up to, and like just I guess the older we get, the older we got, I feel like the further like I just realized like our differences. If that makes any sense. So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody specific, but I think it's natural. Like for me, it was natural. Like like you almost outgrow them. Like they don't fit that
Yeah,
stage of your life anymore. Life changes, so you can no longer keep those people in that position, or else you're holding yourself back. Like if you outgrow that person, how are you going to look up to them anymore in that role model position? It doesn't mean throw them away, but if you've outgrown them, I feel like it's natural to move on.
yeah, feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, are you a role model? Sorry, it's my turn. Are you a role model to somebody?
I'm sure I am. Like you said, I think everybody is to an extent. I don't talk to a lot of people in general, so not a lot of people that I'm close with like that. But I try to be mindful with my interactions, like my successes, my failures. I would like to think that coming from where we come from, people who know me, know about me, not like I'm huge, but like know about me, see my successes and my failures, and I'm sure that it's been a deterrent or it's been um, a guidance for some people. Like I've worked with youth for over 10 years, like thousands of youth. I'm sure at some point, and you're aware every once in a while, you'll be aware of the positive impacts you've made with people. But for the
For
most
sure.
part, you're never going to know the impact that you truly had on people. But I'm sure that I am. How about you?
Um, I feel like I am, like especially for my little brothers. You know, like Isaiah didn't play basketball in high school, but he's a basketball coach, like slash trainer, doing the same thing that like I'm kind of doing. And he always like calls like what drills like should I have the kids do or what should I have them work on with this. So he's always hitting me up to like get pointers at like how to help kids get better. You know what I mean? And I feel like honestly, with his anger problems, him working with kids is a good thing because I feel like through that he is learning how to deal with parents, how to deal with patience, how to deal with attitudes, you know what I mean, that you have to be patient for because like being impatient and working with kids is something that doesn't really go like hand in hand. And yeah, I don't know. I guess yeah, for my little brothers, I would say that's like the only one that I can think of.
Okay. Have you ever been shocked to find out, or like someone told you like, hey, you're a role model to me, or I look up to you?
Um, I guess I was a little shocked because we had a podcast a while back, and you said something about drawing inspiration from the stuff that I've done, or like things with basketball and the things with this. And you're like, yeah, I know like a lot of other people have said the same thing, and Brandon even said the same thing. So I kind of was shocked. I was like, I didn't know, like, I don't know, like I didn't know you guys viewed it like that. You know what I'm saying? Or to that extent. So I was a little bit shocked. I'm not saying I'm your guys' role model, but you get what I'm saying.
No, I think, and I'll bring this up in a little bit, but there are pieces, you know, like there's pieces that you can pull from people, and I don't keep people around me because there's not something that's like a mutually beneficial thing. Like most people that I've come across in life, it feels like I'm a giver and they're a taker. So that's very hard for me. Like I always draw inspiration from you though. We go back and forth, you know?
Facts.
So I feel like there's definitely pieces there that I can draw inspiration from. Yeah, I mean there was a dude, I'll say his name. So Gary, right? Gary told me like not even a year ago, like that he's always looked up to me, right? And so for me, like I was like, holy shit, like I've always looked up to you. Like he was like an older brother, you know?
Tavares, for sure.
Yeah. So that was just crazy. Like the mutual thing was crazy because like I knew how I felt about him. Like I've looked up to him, like the things he's gone through and came out on the other side and the successes he's had
For
in
sure.
life. But yeah, like that shit's shocking. Like, wait, holy shit! Like I've looked up to you. Like that's crazy to me. You know?
That's cool. That's really dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. So what's the best way that you would say about choosing a role model? Like, how do you choose a role model?
So first, I think it's important to recognize that for most people, it's not a choice, right? It's just you imitate your surroundings, right? So I feel like that's like the step one is being mindful of that because like that's why like you'll see some little boys like painting their nails or they'll want to like wear makeup because they're of a single mom, like they're imitating, like wanting to spend time with mom, just following those footsteps, right? Like imitating your surroundings. Like my dog, I have a pit bull named Tupac. He's 4 weeks younger than my wife's Aussie healer, right? He pees like a girl. Like, why are you peeing like he crouches and stuff? He doesn't lift his leg to pee. He crouches and pees like a girl.
Yeah, that's funny. Some dogs do that.
But it's because of he follows her. You know, like he does what she does. He can jump hella high. Pit bulls can't jump high, but she can. And so he like imitates her and like he practices and like they jump and shit, you
I
know?
don't talk about pit bulls can't jump high. Negro, I have seen pit bulls run up walls. They can get up.
Oh,
They're
yeah. I'm just saying naturally they're not jumpers. They're not usually the more athletic. Aussie healers, like Aussies and healers both are athletic dogs. They can
yeah,
jump hella.
they are. That is
So
facts.
So I feel like that's first, right? So you mimic your surroundings, right?
Yeah.
So I think once you reach a conscious decision though of like trying to choose your role model, you have to see like people who have become successful in what you want to be successful in. You have to see people who have at least gotten close,
Facts.
people who have paved the way. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the way to reach success and what you're looking for is finding those people.
That's facts. No, you hit that like literally right on the head. That was perfect. Because that's exactly what I was gonna say. You know what I mean? Like from your surroundings to when you do have the conscious of like what you want to do, then you start mimicking the people that are doing the things that you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Or the goals that you want to accomplish. So yeah, it's a great answer.
Thank you, sir. So you think you should have different role models for different aspects of life?
Um, I 100% think you should. You know, like how we were talking about, like you pick this, you pick that. I know with like my brothers and stuff like that. My brothers aren't my only role models. It's just easiest to use them because like I've been looking up to them for so long. So there's things about them that I pick and choose, you know what I mean? Like that I want to like either apply to my life or I really like or that I help build upon myself. And then from other people, you know what I mean? You pick and choose like that. I feel like it's you're not going to find, I feel like, a perfect person, you know what I mean? Or unless literally the person that you're looking up to has everything you'd ever want. But then like I feel at some point trying to be exactly like somebody else, you're going to find that you're not that person. So I feel like that's also setting yourself up for disappointment. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's definitely good to avoid that, to, like having different role models from different aspects of life.
Yeah, like I like how you said that because I feel like it would be dangerous to just follow everything. To say,
Yeah.
well, I agree with all this other stuff. I'm just going to follow all the rest of this. You know, it's not. I think it's important to have like a role model for business is this person. A role model for this is, you know what I mean? Like everybody's not in the same lane, and so I definitely feel like you have to have different ones. Like I wouldn't take music advice from Elon Musk, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. Like maybe if I was trying to be like a pretentious asshole, like I'd go to him for some pointers, right? He's great at that. But I wouldn't take music advice for him. It's not a good person to go to. So I feel like you just have to. It's like look at the person that you're talking to, we're talking about. Look where your success is trying to come from in that, and then recognize that vision. Like match people that match the vision.
For sure.
You think you can have a role model that's younger than you?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Like age doesn't determine like you looking up to someone if somebody's making the moves in the field that you would like to make moves in, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's your ego or pride getting in the way to not have a role model that's younger than you if they're doing the shit that you want to do. So I definitely believe that you could have a role model that's younger than you.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like again different aspects of people, right? Different
Yeah,
aspects of growth or stages that there are. I think you can learn something from anybody. Anybody. You know, I definitely think we all have different experiences. We all have different views of things. So you can learn something from anybody. Like you. I've always admired your dedication. So again, going back to that. I've admired your dedication in everything.
I
Huh?
gotta, but I gotta turn that back up a little bit for sure.
Your dedication?
Yeah,
But just in general, like the hustle, I've always admired that. Like even in my asshole party days, I never tried to push you to do what I was doing because I understood you were on a better path. You know, so like
sure.
it was always admiring that. It was always respecting
You
that.
didn't have to push too hard, nigga. I was just bad luck. It was just
No, I know, but I'm just, you were very
You didn't have
bad.
to push too hard. I was just bad luck.
We would.
Opportunity didn't happen when I came around.
I'm not going to get too deep into things just because I'm not going to. But
Oh my
what
god.
people don't understand is like if we'd be like, hey man, we got a few of the homies coming over, we got these girls coming over, we're gonna kick it. Hit up Donovan. Hit up Donovan. Okay, cool. I'll be there. Nobody shows up because Donovan comes over. Every single time though, we got to the point we would wait until girls would be in the car on the way over, and then we'd hit up Donovan. And then sometimes they just turn around and go home. Oh, we didn't even tell them you're gonna be there. Fucking trash, man. But
Yeah. And the times I weren't there, it was just a fun ass night.
was. But there were a handful of times where it would be cracking, and I'd call you afterwards.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like I saw where you were at, right? Like I saw that dedication, I saw that, I admired and respected that, and I didn't have that then. But when I cleaned up my life a little bit and got focused, like you were always somebody that I could see that in. You know, like that's why it's cool to keep people around you that are doing something positive. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah,
And then apply that knowledge later on.
for sure. How important is it to have a good role model or good role models?
I say life and death. Like not even being dramatic about it, like life and death. You know what I mean? Like I've been put in situations by certain people where life might be on the line because not a good role model. I've been, again, taken out of situations because I had somebody who said, no, don't do that. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
allow you. So life and death, 100%.
Yeah. I agree. Nah,
Yeah.
I agree. Like uh, it's hard to really add the 2 cents when it's, yeah, like the situations that you or the people that you choose to follow can literally put you on a path of success or literally put you on a path to where you could lose your life. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a decision of life and death of who you wanna look up to and follow.
And who you associate yourself with. There's so many, almost everybody in juvenile hall that I would work with, the hundreds of kids, probably like I would guess 300-400 kids that I worked with in juvenile hall. And those kids, almost every single one of them, it was loyalty that got them in that situation. Like loyalty. So that's always been huge to me. Like, you're giving people control over your life. Like, me being loyal to you, it means like if some shit goes down, I know you didn't put yourself in that situation to control me. Right? But so many people don't understand loyalty is not giving up power. Like, I'm not going to let you control my life because I'm loyal to you. You know what I mean?
So in that case, listen, I don't like this person. Like,
Okay.
I just don't like this person at all. But in that case, would you say 6ix9ine was wrong then for what he did? Or do you even know what happened or what went down? Because he so-called snitched on everybody because he wasn't loyal to people that were not loyal to him. Like, I don't know the whole story of how everything went down. I just have little bits and pieces that I put together like through Instagram. Was the people in his crew that he was supposed to be loyal to were people that were trying to get him caught up in other stuff and not caring about like the direction that he's trying to go and the things that he's trying to do. And basically we're like gonna turn him in. So he was like, forget that. I'm gonna get you before you get me.
You know, no, I don't think he was right. I think if he would have shot them, cool. But you're involved, right? So if you're involved, you can't. That goes against the rules you signed up for, right? So
Yeah.
I agree that wholeheartedly. The most fucked up thing about like people who live in bad environments, right? Like you live in a hood, you live in a ghetto, you live in whatever. The most fucked up thing about that is people say, "Oh, you need to get out of that," right? Which I agree, that's not a healthy environment to live in. But for
Yeah.
you to get out of that, it means you have to unlearn all of these rules of survival that you've lived in your entire life, right? Like, you have to abide by these laws of your environment to survive. But then you go try to get in the corporate world, those laws don't exist anymore. So now it's like, you follow these laws. You know what I mean? It's like moving from one country to the next and shit's completely different. You know what I
I,
mean? So
I get what you're saying, but like, I don't know. Like going from the hood and trying to, I guess you could say, get into the corporate world, that's just learning communications, I guess, skills or learning the patterns of both sides. You get what I'm saying? Like your patterns or your communication skills, the way you act or hold yourself in the hood should be different than how you hold yourself in a corporate type world. You know what I'm saying? But there's no reason why somebody cannot do both. Like, at least in my eyes and in my mind, there's no way that you cannot do both.
you have to know the other side to know how to survive there. You know what I mean? Like, if you only
Yeah,
know that, you're 100% right. There's no reason you can't. And those
but
who figure
you got to put yourself on that side.
correct, but if you live in an environment where it's like if this dude it looks at you this way or calls you this name, you have to react because your survival depends on it, right? Like, you can't let him do that. So now I'm over here. My instinct is, no, you said that to me, it's on. It doesn't matter. Like, my entire instinct, take a lion out the fucking jungle, right? You're still a
Yeah,
fucking lion. So you have to learn to get domesticated. You have to learn to not react those ways. Like, instinct's a bitch, man. Like, I still find myself getting angry at shit that shouldn't get me angry. Someone cuts me off, or I pull into a parking spot and someone tries to take it from me real quick. My first instinct is I'm gonna fuck this nigga up, and then I have to be like, oh, it's a part. Who cares, you know? But instinct is a bitch to get rid of.
yes, but that's something you said. You can learn how not to react. Like, I, I don't know. I guess that's a touchy subject. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna say that I agree with the dude because I don't really agree with the dude. You put yourself in that situation. You know what I mean? And you decided to go along with it. You could have got the fuck out before that shit even started. So that shit was on you. And then, yeah, you're not supposed to just rat the way that you ratted.
Yeah, you signed up for it, so
Exactly.
abide by that. Do you agree that it's healthy to disagree with your role models on certain things?
Um, yeah, I extremely agree. Like, you gotta learn from people's don'ts just as much as learn from people's do's in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't agree at all with everything that like of my role models.
Okay.
You
So
know?
yeah, no, I feel like there's no single human being on earth you should agree with 100% of the time. If you do, like that's not your role model, that's your God. Like you should definitely like having a role model doesn't preclude you from thinking. You start to think. You know, like there's plenty of shit that's like even somebody like Gandhi did a lot of great shit, right? Gandhi was a fucking racist. I'm not gonna agree with that. You know, like there's a part in this book.
That.
Huh?
I said I don't know Gandhi's life like that.
Well, I read his autobiography some years back, and a lot of great shit that like makes you think, right? But still, like he took a boat from India to I think somewhere in Europe. He was a lawyer, so he took a boat from India to somewhere in Europe, and they made him like go down in like the shitty like quadrants of the boat, right? That's where he had to be at. And he's talking about he didn't understand, like, why do I have to, I understand why the Africans are down here. I just don't understand why they're putting me there. Like, I'm an African. Like that way of thinking of like, still like, he thought that was fine for them to be there, but he thought he was better than them because he wasn't African.
Yeah, that's
So,
not cool.
I'm just saying that there are lessons from his life that we can take and apply to life that are great. Yes. But everything, not 100%.
Okay. All right. My question. Who is someone that is considered a role model that shouldn't be?
We should write a book, Donovan. This is like a book long question. Like,
Yeah, that's
ignorant motherfuckers y'all admire, part 1. Like this could be like a 500-page book. But I'm gonna huh?
okay. Just name a couple tops for you.
Any Kardashian, anyone who is associated with a Kardashian, besides Ray J.
Yeah, I agree.
You'd think Kim had one wish, the way shit turned out with Ray J. But yeah, in general, I feel like anyone who makes you hate yourself to love them, anyone who makes you feel like you're lesser than them because you don't have what they have, anyone who makes you feel like upgrading is a wardrobe or plastic surgery that you can get, anyone that tells you, like, it's fucking wild to me, man. Like,
there's a lot of role models that should not be role models, or that we should not modeling our life after, which is.
I thought Paris Hilton was bad back in the day. Like, this shit's to a whole other extent. I hate plastic surgery. Like, we could have a whole thing. I hate plastic surgery on a whole other level. Like, to me, that's up there with like people bleaching their skin to try to look better. People killing their skin, trying to make themselves be hella dark out in the sun. People like that. You know the worst plastic surgery in the world. I don't know what it's called, but
the BBLs?
Huh?
The BBLs that everybody's getting, and then don't do legs, and it just ends up some misplaced down the thigh.
What are you talking about?
A BBL, Brazilian butt
Brazilian butt lift. No, so that's not
like a fat transplant that most of them don't even work out. They don't even keep it up, so it just looks all awkward. And then I've seen some that have fallen down their legs, and it's like going down. It's bad.
No, you know the worst one though?
Go for it.
I don't know the name of the procedure, but Asian people get their eyes fixed to be round, like white people eyes. Like that's a fucking thing.
Never heard that. That's wild.
I was somewhere, I saw it on a billboard. It was like a before and after picture of an Asian dude, like before and after he got his eyes fixed. Like that's, how deep is your self-hate? Like that shit's fucking wild to me. Like,
yeah. You gotta hate, like, your eyes are your eyes. Like, no, I don't know. It's like Michael Jackson getting a nose job. Like, no, nigga, you just lost your blackness.
Same vein.
Goddamn.
What about you? So you who is somebody that you don't feel like should be considered a role model?
It's the same, man. The list can go on. It's just one of those questions that, like, there's so many people out there that shouldn't be role models in the music industry, I guess, in public figures that are trying to be public figures and put on this whole fake portrayal of how wonderful life is. That, like, that fake shit is for the birds. Like, I can't. But yeah, Kardashians, the little pumps. Yeah, like, it's all those littles. Those littles are are up there for sure. So
Those littles are big ones in that.
Those, yeah, those are the big ones for sure.
Oh, Lizzo. You know Lizzo?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's in
You
there.
know, you're not a fan of Lizzo?
Of the industry plant Lizzo to make especially black people be okay with being morbidly obese and dying young. No, I'm not a fan.
Look, we're not gonna go into that topic
We're not going to. I know. I'm just.
of
It's just.
of of
It's just
size and health.
health though. It has nothing to do with hate. Like it's nothing hate though.
I know that, but people don't realize. People don't. They don't hear that, and it's a health. It's a health thing. It's not. I get loving your body and loving yourself, as you fucking should. You should love yourself. You should love your body. But at the same time, like, being healthy is also important. Like, I'm not saying you should hate yourself if you're unhealthy. No. But, like, should you strive to be healthier? Yeah. Strive to be as healthy as you possibly can. And if you're at risk and that shit is just unfucking healthy, then, like, I don't know.
What's crazy?
That self-hate? Self-hate. That is self-hate.
It should be considered self-hate. Look, Donovan, we spent the last 2 years, not me, but we as a country, a slogan has been trust the science, right? To try to make people get the shot, right? Trust the science, trust the science, trust the science. Okay, why are we not trusting the science of diabetes and heart disease? Like, it's a pick and choose world, man. Like, it's not, we'll trust the science over here because we want you to believe that. Oh no, ignore the science here. It's okay to be, you know what I mean? Like, it's what. Trust the science for 2 years, and now we're gonna start debating chromosomes. Are we trusting the science or not? Like, it's a pick and choose world.
Yeah, that's true. I will say that herbalism is definitely getting bigger, though. It is on the rise. I think it's because of the price of how much a lot of shit is. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to, like, health insurance and others. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are looking for other remedies or other ways to get their health back up, or to prevent. Like, because herbalism, it can fix a lot of problems, but to be honest, it's a preventative, so those things don't ever happen. You know what I'm saying? So, for sure.
It's like you said I think it was last episode when you talked about the cure for cancer, something, and food, and booping me away, and all the stupid fucking shit.
You got booped. Your ass got booped.
I'm not doing it again. I'm sorry. I swear to God, I'm sorry. When you said, like, you cure cancer as a mad scientist, which is still stupid as shit.
Nope.
No, listen. But you said that, and you said with food, and my point was the cure for cancer is food. Like, it is what you're eating. It is the more alkaline. It is. There are studies that show this. Anyway, back to the topic. What are the negatives of having a role model that's like that you've never met before, like a famous person or a social media person?
I feel like one of the biggest negatives is you only know as much as they allow you to see. You know what I'm saying? So it's not real, or you can't really say if it's real or if it's not. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, they don't allow you to see all the ugly or the other side. It's all glamorized. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're willing to open up. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. You can't ask questions either. There's no back and forth. You can't get clarification on anything. You don't know if what they're telling you is true or real. And then, like you said, like, you don't know anything they don't want you to know. So you don't know the ugly side. You don't know how many times they failed before unless they want to show you that. So a lot of people want to make it look like they're perfect. Like social media is, I'm perfect. These motherfuckers aren't perfect. So for you to have a role model who you think is perfect, but it's hiding behind all this insecurity that they never talk about, all these failures that they never talk about, it's damaging to you because you feel like something's wrong with you if you can't do it perfectly.
Feel it. So any next question, has a role model ever let you down?
Yeah, as a kid, you go through role models so fast as a kid. Like, you have a different teacher, you could have a friend, like a friend's older brother over here who was a role model who taught you this, but you go through them so quickly. So I'll say, not personally, but like as like hip hop, Nas let me down a few times on a few different occasions where I felt like, but that's before I realized hip hop was fake as shit, you know? So, like, I thought there was a standard. I thought there was this realness people were supposed to stick to. And I'm not saying Nas is fake. I'm saying the level that I held him to, it's not real. So, like, when the whole Lil Nas X experience happened, like, seeing them together, like, I was just kind of shrugging by then. Like, Like I have very low expectations of humans. So when shit happens, it really doesn't shock me too much. What about you?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier, you know what I mean? Like I had a role model that just I outgrew. So I could definitely say they kind of like let me down because I had them on a pedestal, you know what I'm saying? So and yeah, like yeah, for sure.
Happens.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Next question. Do you think the pressure is overwhelming as a role model?
I think it depends on how seriously you take that position, right? Like to use basketball as a reference, I remember like I wasn't there. I don't even know if I was born, but I remember Charles Barkley said he wasn't a role model, right? So I'm not a damn role model. Like what? Yes, you are, Charles Barkley. And then the other side of that's like LeBron James. Off the court, I'm a big LeBron James fan, right? He
Yeah.
plays a different style of basketball that I'm a fan of, and I know he's great. I know all those things. I'm not talking shit, just saying it's different for me. So off the court, the shit that he does, like being in year 19, really having nothing that you can point to, no infidelities, no, beats his kids, no lawsuits, no, you know what I mean? Like besides his earlier years, I heard stories of like him treating people like shit. But is it true? Who knows? But I'm just saying he takes his position very seriously. It's obvious that he does because he wants to be a good role model. And I'm sure there's business decisions there too, but I think a lot of it is just him wanting to be a good example for people. So I think it just depends. What about you?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the pressure from trying to be a role model comes from trying to live up to some expectations that are not really necessarily you or that are fake. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people trying to be public figures or influencers or this or that, and it doesn't resonate with you. You know what I'm saying? So like when you're trying to be something that you're not and live up to those expectations, obviously there's going to be a lot of pressure to perform in an area that doesn't suit your personality or who you are. So I definitely think yeah, there's a lot of pressure to fit these so-called role model norms that we have today because the norms are all fucked up.
Yeah, it's perfection is what people think that's what it's supposed to be. So you mentioned the social media influencers. What dangers do you feel there are for kids having their role models be like celebrity social media influencers?
It's realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been seeing a lot of influencers or public whatever get popular from doing like stunts or doing like other stuff, you know what I'm saying? And like that can get you fucked up real fast if you play with the wrong person, you know what I'm saying? So like it's not real. So it's just in the end it's just gonna end up letting you down, you know what I mean? Because it doesn't like the stuff that doesn't have substance behind it. So
Yeah, I think substance is a big word. It's all make believe.
yeah.
Like a kid's role model is all make believe. So like they believe that the world operates a certain way, but it doesn't because it's all fake. Like it's not. It's based on looks. It's based on fashion. It's based on things that have no substance. And 99% of the time, like the online shit is staged. It's not even real. So like even the stuff that is of substance, like what pisses me off more than almost anything, besides like fake staged videos that everybody thinks is hilarious, like you can't see this shit's fake. Like it really
Yeah.
bothers me how gullible people are with shit. Like it pisses me off, right?
You know, that pisses you off. Well, when people do one, reaction videos are annoying as hell. And another is when people do the same thing that somebody else just like it. Never mind. We're not even gonna go into this. Keep going.
No, we can a little bit. When people reaction videos, just get a friend. Just get a friend and just watch the movie and stare at your friend and see how they feel about it. Show your friend that song and just look at them. How do you react? Nobody reacts like that. Like they've obviously seen it. It's not the first time they've seen it. They're watching the video. Oh, here it comes. Nobody does that when you're watching a video. Nobody does that shit, right? Two, I hate it when people go give homeless people food or money on camera. Shut off your fucking camera. If you're doing it to help, shut it off. And then the argument is, oh, well, this is inspiring other people to do it. No, it's not, bitch. If it was inspiring other people to do it, you would do it on a different level. You would do it. You don't have to show the videos of you giving everybody McDonald's sandwiches. Like, it's fucking crazy to me. Like, it's for you, for your ego. It's so people think you're a good person. And because that's very cheap advertising. If I spend $100 on McDonald's and go hand it out to homeless people, I'm gonna get way more views than if I spend $100 on advertising budget on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or anything like that. My money goes a lot further. It's just marketing, man. It fucking pisses me off that people believe that shit. What a good person. No, he's a piece of shit human being. That's it. It's for fun.
Feel it. So how do you believe not having a role model affects somebody?
It's not having an example or a path to follow, right? So it's like being like you're in high grass. Like you don't know where to go. You don't know what direction is success. You don't know what direction is you don't know a way out if you're stuck somewhere. You know? So you're just trying to copy everyone around you, but you're not having a solid, stable person that's going to show you the way.
Exactly. You don't have like a goal or a target that you're shooting at. It's like shooting an arrow in the sky and hoping it lands someplace good. You know what I'm saying? So, feel it.
Okay. How do you think your life would be different if you didn't have your role models when you were younger?
My life would be different if I didn't have my role. So you're saying replace my role models if they were somebody different?
Just if you didn't have them, whether they're replaced or not, like they're just gone. Like you grew up without them.
They're gone, I'd have to replace them. Like I feel like everybody has somebody that they either try to or attempt to look up to. So depending on who my role models would be, my life would be very different. Like if the people I looked up to were like super into like, I don't know, painting, you know what I mean? Then I probably would be painting or doing something that has to do more with like that kind of art. Or you get what I'm saying? It would just change my whole approach or direction to like what I'm pursuing.
You think life would have been harder, easier, or you just think it just would have been flat out different?
I feel like it would have been different. I feel like my drive and ambition, you know what I mean? Like that's just kind of, I've had that since I was like a kid. I've always been pretty passionate about the things that I did. So if it was directed some other place, it just, I don't know, maybe it would have benefited me. I'd be more successful in life, like financially now, if it would have been something else rather than sports. Like who knows, you know? So
let's pretend a second. Let's pretend those people aren't replaced. They're just removed.
okay.
So those people are just removed. Like your older brothers are just removed, right? Your grandma and grandpa are just removed, right? So you grew up around the other people that were around, but they weren't your role models. Like what effect living in Oroville, well, first Chico and then Oroville, growing up, what effect do you think that would have, do you think you would have gone down a worse path, a better path, or just something different?
Without them, I feel like I still would have been a competitive person. Like I've always been competitive regardless. You know what I mean? They didn't have to teach me to be competitive. I just was competitive. So I feel like I would have got into, I don't know, I feel like I still would have got into sports or something. But it would have been a lot harder not having somebody to really base my actions behind or that support coming from my role models. So like it would have been a lot harder. I feel like it could have turned out really bad. I can't say, like that's hard to say, but I know my life would be very, very different.
Yeah, for me, like it was my mother was the only constant, right? So for me, thinking about like if I removed my mom, like my mother was my example of strength, my example of perseverance. You know, like she was the light in my life. You know, like the only light in all the darkness, she was that light, right? So you remove her, I don't come back home. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a light to guide me back home. I don't have a light to show me the way of something positive, you know? Like I survived, I feel like I survived, especially like my teenage years, young adult years, because I would always listen to my mom. I would never do what she told me to do, but I would always listen to her. So then when the stupid shit I was doing didn't work out, I know I had that in the back of my mind. Try this out. You know what I mean? So without that, I just feel like it's just dark.
Yeah, it would have been a lot darker. Yeah, see, mine would have been a lot darker too. I feel like that's why I said things would have just been harder.
So you grew up the way you grew up. You had the role models you had. Is there a role model you wish you would have had?
No, because if there's a role model I wish I would have had, I would have had them as a role model.
No, I mean like a role model who, so like for you loving basketball, like do you wish you would have had a role model, like you had an uncle who was like a pro basketball player who could have shown you the way? Do you have?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Of course. Like,
Question.
look, I didn't know exactly what you meant by the question, but in that case, like somebody, because like the role model could have still been like I guess my like celebrity role model, I would say, is J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? But like, I can't actually like talk to J. Cole. I just like the fact that like you would have different opinions, obviously, about him. But the fact that the whole dollar and a dream, he used to hoop. He was a college athlete. He talked about like going to school. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get a good education. You can still be tough. You can still make it out. I can have all this money. I can have access to this, and I don't need to wear jewelry. I don't need to fly. You know what I'm saying? So like I like the stance or the direction that he's taking represent. But I can't physically go talk to J. Cole now. If I had a role model that was like a pro hooper that could have taught me drop crosses, in and out, skips, you know what I mean? Worked on my angles, my missed, like all that kind of stuff that like I've had to learn by myself or watch, not even like on YouTube, because YouTube wasn't popping like that. I either had to have somebody get me with the move and then me go practice the move, or now that we have this, like I don't know, now I can learn from Instagram, but I could see stuff from Instagram and instantly copy it, or be like, oh, I saw this years ago and now this is finally surfacing, you know? But I would have took basketball a lot further, like a lot further, if I had an uncle that hooped.
Yeah, remember them N1 mixtapes?
Yeah, but that's different. Like you still have a professor out there doing his thing, dressing up as the Joker, dressing up as like something and crossing people up. He's still making some noise out there. The nigga was in Venice the other day.
You know, what was his name? Escalade. Was it Escalade?
Yeah, he died. He was obese.
Yeah, but that's Mark Jackson's little brother?
No,
That's Mark Jackson's little brother.
I did not know that. It
That's
makes
wild.
sense. Escalade had handles. He had handles. He could move. Like he was so light on his toes for a big dude. That's all I gotta say. So
Yeah,
light.
I want to say he's like 15 years younger than Mark Jackson. Something like
Yeah,
that.
that's
But
crazy.
yeah,
I didn't.
yeah, wow. So for me, a role model I wish I had is just a father. Like Jesus. Like that would have solved everything for me. Like
I feel you.
I probably would have had different issues, but like all of my issues stem from not having a father. Like looking back, being very like introspective. Is that the word? Like
But what if your father would have been like a terrible influence? You know what I mean? Like what if he would have just been? Do you feel like you would be better off without?
so that's a whole other side. I think that all the time, man. Like I would never leave my family, right? Like I would never leave my son. I would never leave my wife. I would never leave them without a father. Like I swear to God, I wake up at like 3 a.m. sometimes, like feeling like a panic attack thing, like thinking like I can't die. Like I have to be here for my son. Like I like that. It's something so huge inside of me, wanting to be the dad I didn't have. Like that's huge for me. Um, but I think there are some guys that leave their family and it was better for their family. You know, like that kid would never know that. You don't get both sides. Like that's the craziest thing about life. You don't get to see what if I went this way, what would happen? What if I went this way? I'm sure that there are fathers out there who've done terrible things to their kids, physically, emotionally, sexually, that those kids would have been better off without that father. But if that father would have left before those things happened, you would have grown up thinking, I wish I would have had a father, you know?
For sure.
So you don't get to live both sides. But for me, like everything was trying to be a man. It was trying to pick out what is a man. That's why I hate hip hop now too, for a big aspect. Because like for me, I had humans. Like Pac died when I was like 9 or 10, so it wasn't like I knew him like alive. But like Nas was like a father figure. DMX was a father figure. They had the good, the bad, the ugly. They put it out there for you. You got to see the good stuff about them, the bad stuff about them, and you got to have some sort of influence. Nowadays, like there's nothing to choose from anymore. Like you could say Cole, you could say Kendrick, you could say a few people, but overall, it's not very diverse. So for me, like fights, drugs, alcohol, women, pride, every money, power, everything had to do with trying to like what should I do as a man? I can't get punked, like be a man. You know, like everything was that. So like I look at what I was taught a man was versus like what I believe it is now. Shameless plug, Boys vs. Men, The Definition of a Man book. It's been out for a few years. Go cop that. It's a good book. That whole journey was that. So like I feel like everything would be different.
Philip.
Are there any pros? So you kind of touched on this. So are there any pros of not having a role model at all?
Yeah. No letdowns. Like if you don't have a role model, then you're not gonna be let down. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only pro that I could ever think of to having a role model, because you put these people up on pedestals, you know what I mean, and then they end up just letting you down. So then you're off trying to find either a new role model or be the role model that you've always wanted wanted the other person to be. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for
that's
sure.
similar to you saying the thing about if I didn't have a dad, right?
Yeah.
Like what if he was a piece of shit and then life's worse, right? I feel like having no role model, I think, yeah, like it could be good, but it's a gamble. Like that's a huge gamble, because it's like yeah, you could have a good example, but that could be a bad example. But now you have no example. So is no example in some situations, no example is better than rolling the dice on a good or a bad example. You know?
Yeah.
I think the odds are against you way more for not having a role model.
Feel it. Yeah, the computer crashed on me, so I don't have my questions. I'd have to close this.
It's all good. You have the last question. I'll ask it for you.
Go for it.
Do you have any advice for those looking for a role model?
My advice is look at the people that are staying genuine to themselves. Look at the people that within that genuineness are helping people, you know what I mean, or making an impact in a positive way, and mimic that. You know what I mean? Like, be who you are, do the things to keep your body healthy, find the people that are doing that, because you got to pick and choose, you know what I'm saying? So find the people that are keeping their body healthy in a natural way, herbalism. Find the people that are in the paths that you want to be in, and find the most positive people in that path. Like you could say people in music, right? You know what I mean? Like look for a J. Cole. Like it's going to get you further in life. At least I feel like it's going to get you in further in life, because you can look at the little pumps or whatever and fake your way to the bag or whatever. But then you're still stuck trying to find out who you really are. And then I guess you got money, and then you got a lot of pain come with that money. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I'd say if you're looking for a role model, if you don't have a role model, I would say to be your own role model. I would say look at what you want. Look at who you wish you had in your life. Look at who you needed to have in your life, right? Like search for those who found success in what you want to find success in, and look for those who did it without being a piece of shit. Look for those who did it
exactly
100%. Like those who did it, and then find out how. Like how did a good person make it to this place, right? Like my guiding principle in life is whenever anything happens, there's two things to pop up, right? One is what do you want? And two is what do you believe is right? Always choose what you believe is right over what you want every single time. And if you do that, you'll never be wrong. There's no way you could ever be wrong no matter what. What do I want? What's right? Sometimes those two line up, sometimes they don't. But every single time you choose what you feel is right, and you'll be fine. You will never be wrong. No matter what it has you end up doing, you did what you felt was right. You can't be wrong.
Give and take, but yes, I will agree.
Episode 22. I'm ending this shit. Episode 22, Two Opinionated, role models. If you do what you feel is right, you can't be wrong. No justice. Don Fret, Donovan Plum, Shirley.
Bye. Peace.